Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone's doing well. So, today I'm going to talk about before you're ever eaten alive. Before you're ever eaten alive, something has to happen. Something has to happen. And that thing is, you have to get caught. In other words, you have to get caught up. Before anyone has an opportunity to do anything for you, or anything to you in any negative sense, you have to first get caught up with those people, with them in any kind of way. You have to be caught up with them. And so you have to ask yourself, how am I being caught up? How am I getting caught up with these people who choose to live life in an unloving way? Why am I the receiver of why am I a receiver of this negative behavior? It's because you got caught up. You allowed yourself to get caught up. And it happens every day, and it happens all the time. And we allow ourselves to get caught up with these people who have always been, I should say. They have always been capable of doing harm. But those who get caught up do not allow themselves to see it because they're getting some type of benefit. There's something they're benefiting from being involved with that person. And that's how they get caught up. Because eventually these people who are capable and are currently doing things to others in a negative sense will eventually come to you. Eventually it will happen to you. And people say things like, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know this person was capable, but yet, looking back on it, hindsight, I can see how they treated other people. I can see how they did to me what they've been doing to others, or I can see what they've been doing to others they have done to me. You hear this all the time. The warning signs are there all the time. If something seems too good to be true, and you see that other people are treated in a different, or I should say, anytime anyone treats you differently than others, it's a warning sign. It tells you that this person is not who they claim to be. How can someone be an asshole to someone else and treat you like you're a king or a prince or a queen? It's easy to explain that, but most people don't want to see it because they want to continue to receive that treatment which they are currently receiving from that person, ignoring all the signs. And so therefore you get caught up in their lies, caught up in their web, caught up in your own illusion of things. You have to first get caught up, and that's how people use you. If you're a young girl or a vulnerable woman and you're like, you're feeling unworthy, you're feeling like you're not worth anything, and someone, sweet talks you, and you're like, oh wow, I never, this is the first time anyone's ever treated me this way. It's a warning sign. First of all, if your law of attraction has been nothing but, I should say, less than desirable, and then all of a sudden you get this one person who treats you like a king or a queen or whoever, whatever, depending on what your preferences and relationship dynamics are. If this person starts treating you like royalty and you don't question it, there's a problem with you for not looking at it. You have to ask yourself, what's going on here? Why is this changing? Not to say that you're not worthy of it, but why is it changing? And really, it's not changing. It's not really changing. It's why are you so blind to the other things about that person? Because there's other things that are present that I have. Look, people have come to me about their relationship issues, and they're like, this is going on, and that's going on, and this is going on, and with every single relationship, it starts out great in the beginning. Sometimes people are lonely. So you meet someone, you go out to dinner, and that's a good feeling. Sometimes people don't like to be home alone. So someone moves in and you have someone there. And you overlook the petty stuff, because the petty stuff is like, well, it's just small stuff. But you don't look at the pain that it's causing, the suffering that it's causing, the discomfort that it's causing. So you choose to ignore it. And you only focus on the things you want to focus on. And so it's not only that they're spinning the web for you. You're saying, oh my gosh, who cares about the web? This is so amazing. This is so amazing. So you throw yourself into the web. It's like a spider saying, hey, hey, hey you, Mr. Mosquito, come have lunch with me. Look what I found in my web. And you're like, oh wow, how nice. Even though I know this person is, capable of X, Y, and Z, they're offering me this. Oh, they're befriending me. Oh my gosh, they like me. They're interested in me. And the spider's like, yes, enjoy, enjoy. Meanwhile, you're enjoying it, unknowingly caught in their web. It's really that simple. It is really that simple. There was I won't go into that, but anyway, it's that simple. People get caught up in people's webs because they can't see past what they're being offered. Why? Because what they're being offered, they're lacking. And they want what's being offered. They crave what's being offered. They desire what's being offered. And because it's being offered, they don't care about anything else. They don't care about anything else. It's like Sleeping Beauty and the Witch and the Apple. I think it's Sleeping Beauty. She's like, oh wow, a beautiful apple. Not looking at the condition of the person who's giving it to them. Look at the witch. The witch looks crazy as hell. But oh, here's Sleeping Beauty. Oh, how nice. Here you go. Not looking at the witch. Not looking at the condition of the witch. Not looking at the condition of the person. Not looking at the soul condition of the person who's batting their eyes and smiling and giving them attention and affection. These things aren't seen. Completely blinded by the gifts. Because they weren't given these things for a long time and they desire it and crave it. And once they have it, you can't see anything because it's so shiny and bright and pretty and desirable. So the point of this video is, be careful. Look at what you're desiring and look at what people are offering you. Because I can tell you, people who offer you things know that you desire it. Know that they've been watching you for a while already. If I can look at someone and tell what's going on in their life, I can tell exactly what their vulnerabilities are. Therefore, I have an upper hand. I can offer you exactly what you're desiring. And this is what happens. This is why young women get knocked up. This is how young men become fathers when they really don't want to become fathers. This is how mothers become mothers when they really don't want to become mothers. Because they got caught up. And then they were eaten alive. And that's what happens. Their life is, it feels like you're being eaten alive because you can't do what you want to do. You can't go where you want to go because someone has done something, or I should say you have allowed someone to put you in a position where you feel like you can't do anything. Whether it's something that's emotionally within you that is stifling you, or you end up with a physical child that really, literally, physically prevents you from doing something. Other things that you desire to do. Sometimes people will lie on you. Sometimes people will blame things on you when you had nothing to do with it. Or sometimes people will just have you take the entire fall, even though you weren't the only one involved. Sometimes you were unknowingly involved. This is what I mean by being eaten alive. Before you get caught up, before you get eaten alive, you have to be caught up. But we have to be mindful of the people we're being caught up with. I'm very aware of the people I know. Very aware. I'm aware of their degradation. I'm aware of their value. I'm aware of their flaws. I'm aware of their greatness. I'm just simply aware of the people who are in my life. I can tell when I first start chatting with people, I can tell when they're going to forsake me, if you will. They're so great about hearing truth or whatnot and learning the, universal laws and the way the soul operates and the way, just the way things operate. They're so excited to hear that, but at some point, they start hearing about themselves. They start seeing about themselves. They start realizing about themselves. And that's the part they never wanted to do. They wanted to know it intellectually, but they didn't want to see it within themselves. And so they push away, and they will find a reason, because they can't just say, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. There has to be a valid reason, because if someone says to you, well, I don't want to talk to you anymore, there's no reason. There's always a reason. It's going to make it look like they're hiding something. And so they don't want to feel like that. They will create a scenario where they give themselves an out. They will create a disagreement so they can give themselves an out. And as soon as they say, you know what, that's ridiculous. You know what, I can't deal with that anymore. I got to go. And that's it. It's really that simple. But if someone stops talking to you out of nowhere and you say, hey, what's the problem? They don't want to talk about it because they don't want you to know that there's a problem. Because it's all part of the facade. All part of the facade. So before you are eaten alive, understand that you allowed yourself to get caught up. Caught up in the madness, in the chaos. Seriously, even that, just chaos. There's people at work. There's people at work, you know. Hold on a second, I need some water. There's people at work, you know, when people start new, fresh. Even myself, when I first started working at the agency that I'm working at now, I remember the feeling that I had when I first started. Aside from the nervousness and being in a new environment that I'm completely unfamiliar with, there's a sense of duty, there's a sense of integrity that you have. You want to do a good job, you want to stand out, you want to be recognized, you want to prove yourself, you want to prove that you're doing what's supposed to be done, you just want to shine and do good. But at some point, what happens is you start to get to know people who have been there for a while already. And then you start to get in alignment with those people. Then you start hanging around them and you start seeing what their views are and you start adapting to them. And before you know it, that desire to shine and do good fades away and you become mediocre, you become dull, just as they. And then before you know it, you're exactly like them, just with a different face and a different body. And that which you once had that allowed you to shine, that allowed the motivation that you had to do good and do better and to prove yourself, is no longer there. It's gone. And I've seen this so many times with people where people come in and they start off great and they're like, how do I do this? Show me, I want to learn. And you teach them the right way, but they end up following those who are doing things the wrong way. And before you know it, you get caught up with them. And then before you know it, you're being eaten alive because now you're in alignment with that which is always in trouble. And you never knew it. You never knew it. You could see the difference between how you were being taught and what you wanted to do and how people were operating. You can see it, but you want it so badly to fit in. And this is the only reason why this happens, is because you want to fit in. You don't want to be hated. You don't want to be disliked. And that's one of the things that you have to learn how to accept. Accept being hated and accept being disliked. This is something that I had to come to terms with. Like, I had to say to myself, I have to know and learn how to be hated. I have to know and learn how to be disliked. I have to know what it looks like. I have to know what it feels like. And then when I'm done, I have to sorry, I lost train of thought when I was looking at that car over there. What was I saying? Jesus. I know I was saying I have to learn, I have to do this, I have to do that, but once I do that, or I don't know what I was saying, but I knew the topic. Oh, this cracks me up. So, I had to learn how to accept being hated and disliked, and I had to understand why it was happening, and I also had to understand that in order to accept something like that, that means you have to stand for something different. Like, you have to know why someone is hating you, why someone's disliking you, why someone is angry at you. If you're living in truth and you're maintaining integrity and you're living in love, and you know that you're doing these things, it doesn't matter, or I should say, it will automatically tell you where the other people stand. They don't like truth, they don't like integrity, and they don't like love. It's not something that dwells with them. It's not something that they are willing to do. Deceit, deception, lying, facade, these are the things that most people are familiar with and comfortable with. It's a way of life because they need to present a certain way to other people. And when you give that up and you live in truth and you maintain your integrity and you have understanding and you have compassion and you have love, and you have all of these things, you understand what's going on in the other people, and you know that it's not anything that's wrong with you. You have to allow people to dislike you, but understand why they dislike you. It's not just accepting why they like you. It's about understanding why they dislike you, why they hate you. Because that allows you to maintain the foundation that you are building. The love, the compassion, the truth, the understanding, all of these things must be present in order for you to truly understand another person and why they're being or acting in such a degraded way. It's so easy. It's so easy. But you have to want it. You have to desire this, people. You have to desire it. I don't desire to be caught up because I don't desire to be eaten alive. I don't desire going down for anyone. I don't desire going down with anyone. I don't desire being in trouble for anyone. I don't desire being in trouble with someone. I don't desire any of that. Therefore, I make sure I do not get caught up. I see where people are flawed, and I see how they can manipulate others. I see how they manipulate others. I see how conniving and sneaky they are, and therefore I understand exactly what could happen to me if I get caught up. That simple. I don't desire friends because I'm lonely. I desire high quality friends. Friends who also share. Someone approached me yesterday and said, oh my gosh, I have a profile, and this, oh my gosh, your profile is so amazing, blah, 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 such integrity, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and truthful, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. They just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, right? And I'm like, oh, great, thanks. And then, and then they started doing things. They started just living life. They started communicating with me. But little did they know that in their communication, I could see that which dwells within their soul. I can see the manipulation. I can see the areas where they felt vulnerable, meaning I can see where their fears resided. I can see where, or I should say, I can see where they resided in fear. I can see where, or I could see where they were, what is the word I'm looking for? It's right there at the tip. Insecure. And I pointed these things out. I pointed them out because they were giving it to me. And I said, this, well, that explains this, X, Y, and Z, because you said X, Y, and Z. And they were like, whoa, whoa. They were kind of shocked. They was shook. They were shocked that I was so forthcoming with this. And it wasn't something that they didn't know. It was just shocking that someone else could see it in such a short period of time. And so this person, because they were shocked, what they did is they tried to cover it up. And they said, wow, that's such great insight. Why aren't you a psychiatrist? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, and I understood what was going on. I knew deflecting was happening in the moment. And that wasn't important, but it was important for me to understand that this person is capable of all this. So, So even though this person was supposedly praising me for this insight that I had, they weren't liking it. And so when it got to a point where they couldn't manipulate and control, that's when the frustration came in. And let me tell you, this was all within, I would say, this was about maybe 7-8 minutes into the conversation. This is how quick this happened. You know, when someone isn't able to get a footing in terms of control and manipulation, they leave. What's the point? There's no point in putting in energy in something that I can't have. And the person wanted control. The person wanted domination, and that wasn't going to happen with me. One, because I wasn't going to play into it, and two, I let the person know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what they're doing. So this person said, well, now I see why you're single, and like blocked me. And I was like, okay. Like, I said nothing. The only thing I did is I didn't give a person an opportunity to get me caught up. That's my point. I didn't allow anyone to get me caught up. I could see through all the things that they were doing. I understood exactly what they were doing, more so than they did. More so than they did. And that's one of the things you'll realize if you haven't realized already. People like a smart person, but they do not like you to be smarter than they. They do not like you to be smarter than they. And so you always have to be smarter than they. And if you want to be smarter than they, then you have to have more love. You don't have to try to figure people out. It just comes to you. You see it. It's automatic. That's the truth. I enjoy my life now. I may not have all the things that I desired when I was younger, all the monetary things. But my life is so much better now than it was before. Yes, I do have more monetary things than I did before, but I'm saying I want it so much more than I have now. But what I do understand is that it's coming. And it comes effortlessly. These things come effortlessly. I don't have to work hard for it. It just comes. I'm an active participant, so I'm not saying I don't have to work. I love working. I actually like participating and getting up in the morning and doing things. Waking up 4 o'clock in the morning is something that I enjoy. I know some people hate it. They hate waking up at 8 o'clock. But I love waking up before the sun is up. Getting ready and getting everything done. And by the time the sun comes out, I'm ready to go. The sun's ready to go. I'm ready to go. Well, the sun's always ready to go. But the day is ready to go. I'm ready to go. We're ready to go. We go together. I just love it. So I don't think, if I won the lottery, I don't think I would be too happy sitting at home every day. I would find other things to do, but I would have to be active, doing something. Just waking up doing nothing. Like, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks and just woke up doing nothing. It gets old. And, you know, after a few days, I'm like, okay, I got to get out of the house. I have to do something, you know? So, you know, all these things come to you when you develop more love in your soul, and it's not about controlling. It's not about learning to control others. It's not about learning it to manipulate others, because you do have the ability, you do have the power to manipulate people, to manipulate others. I think I may have to go around on this one. You do have the power to do that because you have more insight. And when you have more insight, you have the ability to see and do more than the average person. We're going in right. No, we're not going to do that. Oh, there's a 27 right there on that vehicle. Thank you. These people are not on their phones today. Therefore, I can't get in there. So let me go around. Let me go around. Ooh, let me to right. I don't even want to do that. I've done that before. Let's do this. As the sun blinds you, I will jump over here. Go left here. That's Dodger Stadium, by the way. If you're not from the Los Angeles area. Yeah. I don't know what I was saying at the end there, but oh, manipulation. You know, living in love and living in truth allows you to manipulate, to have control over other people. And this is why, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. With great authority and knowing comes great responsibility. You have to know how to, I think my water fell. You have to know how to use these things. Don't let those things use you. You know, just because I know what I know in terms of truth, just because I understand people and how they operate and why they do things, that doesn't give me, or that doesn't absolve me from having spirit influence. I still have spirit influence. I can tell when I have spirit influence. I can... I knew that was going to happen. I can tell when I'm being influenced. I can tell when there's an energy pressing on me. I can just tell. I can tell when it's not me, because I'm like, I have this desire, but yet I don't want to do this. That's how you can tell. When you have a desire, a strong desire to do something that you know isn't right. Ooh, that's a steep streak. But at the same time, you're like, I have no desire to do this, but yet I have this urge. That's what I should say. That's how I should differentiate it. When you have spirit influence, there's an urge to do something. But then you're like, but I don't want to do that. That's not loving. That's not ethical. I don't want to engage in that. But you're having this urge. The urge is the spirit influence. That's how you can tell. The urge. And so I already know I still have spirit influence. I'm not in denial of that. It's actually my lack of denial that assists me with not moving forward with a lot of the urges that I get. You know, because I can sense it. I can feel it. I'm like, I have this urge to do this, and I have this urge to do that, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. Why would I want to do that? Like, that's the conversation that I have in my head. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I have to be careful. I have to be careful of what I'm feeling. Like, what is this urge? And automatically, I know what this is. And I say aloud, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, because I make a definitive choice in that moment. That's not going to happen. This is how we make bad choices, people, because we have these urges and we don't know that they're not our urges. We don't know that the desires that we're feeling aren't our desires. Let's just, as an example, let's say you're a young woman, young lady, you know, and you have desires, you have goals, you're like, okay, I want to go to school, I want to do this, I want to get a degree in this, and I don't want to have kids yet because I know that can slow me down. And then you have this, and you know, like, if you get caught up, you're going to be eaten alive. And you know this. And then before you know it, you're having this urge, and like, oh, but it's just this one time, or this guy's so cute, or blah, 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 blah. And you know. And it's playing in your mind that you could possibly erase all that you have planned out for yourself. When that urge is so strong, and you're like, but I know this is not good, but oh my gosh, I can't resist the desire. You're being spiritually influenced. You're the spirit who is influencing you, giving you that urge, giving you that desire, that feeling to move forward in a direction that you know is not in your best interest. That voice in your head, that's you saying, this is not a good idea. New Age people call it higher self. Sometimes your spirit guides do, you know, implant that into your mind to remind you, which you ultimately have the free will choice. But generally, you're saying to yourself, this isn't good, but oh my gosh, you can't resist the desire. You can't fight the desire. That's what it is. But the thing is, if you're not aware of this, then you don't have the power to free yourself from that. Free yourself from the potential of making a mistake that could possibly affect the rest of your life. That's why it's so important to know how we operate. That's why it's important to know that we are a soul. That's why it's important to know that there is a spirit world that you actually go to every night. It's important to know that you're in this body, and there's forces that govern this body, and there are forces that govern your spirit body, and there's forces that govern your soul. All this stuff is important. All of it. It's relevant. All of it is relevant. There's so much to know, but once you know it, it's not a lot to know. You know what it's like, you know, you work, it's like, just say you got a job at Target or a gas station. I remember going to the gas station, and this guy named Dennis, the Shell that I go to all the time, young guy, and he was new. I can tell it was his first day because he was fiddling with his badge, like trying to straighten it out and make it look nice. And he was excited. Like I said in the beginning of this video, when you start a job, you're excited. You want to do good and you want to prove yourself. Even if it's at a gas station, you still have this desire to do good, to shine, to present yourself as capable. And so I remember seeing him, and and there were two or three other people there in the little booth. It was a small booth. It wasn't big, but I think there were 3 people that day. And he was training, so he was just kind of standing back and looking how things were happening, how things were done, you know, how to put the money in the safe when it's a large bill, all these different things, right? And so before I knew it, he was there by himself. And not just there by himself, but there by himself overnight, where he gets the worst of the worst. And now when I go in there, I see him so frustrated. I just see him frustrated. And it's like, wow, it didn't take long for that to happen. Now, first of all, the frustration was already there. But he saw this as an opportunity to do good, to do better, to shine, to be great. Even at a gas station, it doesn't matter where you are, we have these desires to do good, to do great, to be great, to shine. But he easily got caught up. And I know he got caught up because I go there about 2 or 3 times a week. That's how much I go through tanks of gas. 2 to 3 times a week I go there. And I see how people are lazy. I see how people don't want to be bothered. I see how people don't look up at you. I see all of that. And before I knew it, he was doing the same thing. That was part of who he was before he got there. So it's not like he suddenly transformed to this outstanding guy who wanted to do great and do good and shine. No. He was already mediocre. But he saw this as an opportunity to be better and change. But, because he does not understand the law of attraction, and because the people at the gas station do not understand the law of attraction, they don't understand that like attracts like. You can't get anything great in that gas station because the energy in that gas station, especially the person who owns it and runs it, you can tell there's not a lot of care and thought put into that place if you ever look at it. So you can't get some amazing human being to go in there and give you the best, because the best isn't what's calling it to itself. Mediocrity is calling it to itself. And we can present however we want to present. But who we truly are will always come forth. So understand, when I say before you can get eaten alive, you have to be caught up. Understand that you are a cooperative component to those who you get caught up with. I didn't say that in the beginning of the video, but it's true. You are only caught up with those you are a cooperative component to. Sometimes the universe will present you with people.
There's a disabled vehicle ahead.
Sometimes the universe will present you with people who are loving. They won't stay long. Well, let me just take this as an example. You know, working where I work, there's been a lot of unloving things happening. And a common theme within the agency that I work at is that people complain about the agency. They just complain about all these, like, we have had our moments. The agency has had its moments where the doors were about to be chained up. That's how bad it has been where I work. And I've never been part of anything that would contribute to that happening. Because I understand to live in truth, speak truth, live in love, and don't get caught up with people who can take you down. Because the people who are causing problems, once you get caught up with them, you're part of the problem. The person, when you start a new job and people, there's always one, oh, you know, the agency, blah, 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 this, and just be careful and watch out for that. They're part of the problem. And I guarantee you, they will be taken care of. The universe will rectify that. Oh, look, another 27. I usually don't say 27s out loud, but when I see them all the time, I usually take pictures of them and put it on Facebook, but I can't do it when I'm driving. But anyway, let's go over here. Anyway, when you zigzag, not that kind of zigzag, folks. Not that kind of zigzag. It's too early for that. Not for some people. Wake up smoking joints. Anyway, you know, the universe will rectify it, and you don't want to be rectified. You don't want to be one of the ones who is receiving their karma. You don't want to get caught up. Don't let the universe eat you alive. Don't let that happen. I mean, you can, but I'm saying don't let that happen. It's avoidable. It is completely avoidable to have the universe come and take care of you. And are the lesson. You want to learn from others. You don't want to be the one that people are learning from a negative standpoint, from a painful standpoint, from a suffering standpoint, from a painful standpoint. You do not want that. You do not want that. You want to maintain integrity, love, and understanding and compassion because you want to be a lesson in love. You don't want to be the lesson in what not to do. Learn from people who are doing this, but don't be the one that people are learning from in this respect. Live in love. Show people how to live in love. Show people how to live in truth. Show people what integrity is. But at the same time, learn from those and let it sustain the reason why you choose to live in truth, in love, and with integrity. That's how you do it. If you really want to show, if you really want to teach someone, teach them by doing the things that are loving. Teach people in a way where they can learn how to give them something different to choose. Give them a different choice. And you do that by being loving, by being truthful, and by maintaining your integrity and living in humility. These are all the things you just do. Just live. First of all, you will benefit from it. And the people, what are you doing? And number one, you will benefit from it, from living in love and living in truth. But the other people will also benefit from it too, because now you're giving them something different. You're not giving them mediocrity. You give them integrity. You show them what that is. And that's not the same as condemning someone for doing or for not living in integrity or not living in love or not living in truth. See, you're on your phone. You're doing all this nonsense. That's all right. It's all right because you're going to do it anyway. You're only doing it in front of me because I'm allowing you to. See how that is? Just like that. Get back over here. Again, like I just demonstrated, the only reason why that person was allowed to be in front of me is because I allowed them to be in front of me. I allowed myself to be affected by those people because I chose to remain behind that person until I chose not to remain behind that person. It's all choices. All choices. Are you being beaten by your significant other? Well, that's a choice. Leave. Are you constantly arguing and you don't like it? That's a choice. Leave. It's all choice. Everything is a choice. So if you're tired of being eaten alive, then stop allowing yourself to be caught up by that person. Leave their web. You have that opportunity. Insects may not have that opportunity, but you have that opportunity. You should just walk away. Walk away. Make the conscious choice, a conscious decision to just say, hey, look, I'm done with this. I no longer want to be treated this way. I no longer want to be caught up. I don't want to be part of this clique because this clique is going down, down, down. Cliques go down, people. Cliques go down. Parties, like Well, I'll leave that alone. I'll leave politics alone. But whatever you get involved with, whatever you get caught up with, whatever happens to that as a group or to you, because you're choosing to be involved with something, that which you are involved in, you will go down with if it goes down. So don't get caught up. Be more aware, be more conscious about what you're doing and who you're doing it with. It's okay to be involved with people, but when a situation is presented where your integrity is compromised, it's time for you to exit. Like, it's one thing for people to do unloving things. It's another thing for you to be involved with the unloving things. And if you're aware of these unloving things, you are involved with these unloving things because you are part of it. You are sustaining it. You're saying, I see what you're doing. I see the unloving things that you're doing, and I'm not going to say anything, and I'm not going to go away. Therefore, I condone it. All things that we see, that we are a part of, we condone. And if we condone, then we're part of it. We have become caught up. Caught up. And it's not their madness, and you can't blame them for it because you stayed. Even though you knew something was going on that shouldn't have been going on, you stayed. And so now that you have made the choice, since you've made the choice, you can now suffer the consequences of that choice. I ain't dealing with you, girl. I don't know what you're doing. So, that's it. I'm done. I am D-O-N-E done. Put a fork in me, because I am D-O-N-E done. Alright, everybody. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Check your T-Mobile Tuesdays. Get your free gasoline. And I'll talk to you guys later. Alright, bye now.